and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Mashle, Dr. Stone, and Jujutsu Kaisen, week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 9. I'm your host, Knox.
And Nickums.
Before we get into the discussion tonight, of course, take a look at the description box down below. That's where you're going to see us on all of our other social media accounts, like Twitter, ways that you can join our online communities like Discord, ways that you can listen to the Project Manga Podcast wherever you normally listen to your podcast, and ways that you can support what we do here through our online store or Patreon. But getting into the discussion tonight, Weekly Shonen Jump number 9 is ridiculous, especially with Jujutsu Kaisen. and My Hero Academia was big too, but Mashle and Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece, I think, are like the three biggest conversations tonight.
Right, for sure.
Yes, absolutely, and I cannot wait to get into it. Kiko is absent tonight. He is all tied up with some family things, but
family things.
Some of you may know. But yeah, so he'll be back next week hopefully. But we'll keep you updated on that. Of course, you can talk to him whenever you'd like on social media or anything like that. But getting into Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 137.
Yes.
The Shibuya incident.
Oh
wait, no, it's not the Shibuya incident. It's just Hard and White. So I was right. Last week was the last chapter of the Shibuya incident.
And like, goddamn, like last week, I was like thinking, wow, this chapter was immense, like huge chapter, like for the future, right, of the story, like huge. And it's like, oh, this one's twice as big, three times as big. It's like, what?
Just dropping bombs left and right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are the bombs we wanted. Like, this is the information that
we've been talking about all this stuff.
Yes, we were like, what is an aftermath of the Shibuya incident going to look like as far as like people that actually matter in the Jujutsu world? They're all going to be having these massive conversations, and that is obviously what we see. And they're talking about all kinds of shit, bro. Like, you know,
and then the cover.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We can't forget about this cover, bro.
Yuta.
Bro. So this is ridiculously hype, but I love how Gege did this because they're like, oh, you guys have been waiting for Yuta for so long. Can't wait to give him to you. And he's an op. Like instantly, like he's reintroduced in the series as someone who has been tasked with taking down Yuji Itadori, which is just crazy information to get. And I can't think of a better way to subvert that reintroduction into into the series. Like no one was ready for that.
Right, we've been talking a lot about like the Jujutsu world kind of turning against Yuji, right? Like obviously Gakuganji for a long time, the Kyoto school for a long time has been against Yuji from way back in the beginning, but it seemed to die down, you know? It seemed like he's kind of on the good team, but after a Shibuya incident, especially with like, you know, the Jogo Sukuna fight, the meteor destroys all the shit, Sukuna kills all these people, right?
Right.
We were like, it makes sense that they'd probably be like, nah, Yuji, you're gonna die again, right? But I don't think anyone predicted Yuta being the guy, right?
Yes.
Like what?
And I didn't know, and we were talking about how when Sukuna was doing the Malevolent Shrine and killing everybody, Kiko was like, where is Inumaki during all this? Where's Toge? And I think I said, like, I'm sure he's fine. He doesn't necessarily have to be in the radius. I mean, like, they would probably show something like that if that was the case. You know what I mean?
Right.
But nope, here we are. X amount of time later, Inumaki lost an arm in Malevolent Shrine. Yuta's obviously very upset about that. You know what I mean? Because Inumaki is his boy, obviously. And that's just so cool. And now I wondered, let me take a look back at the end of the chapter here, because it says special grade sorcerer Yuta Okotu is appointed Yuji Itadori's executioner. Did they call him to do it, or did he come back and be like, what's going on here, get filled in, and then go, I'm going to kill Yuji Itadori?
That's a really good question, because if you go back to 1819, Yuta comes to this mysterious room with candles, and it kind of looks like that room where Yuji and the principal were like first you know, having their introduction, right? But like there's all these like door windowy type things, and then he's talking to some mysterious body of people, but he kind of says like look, this is on page 19 at the top, like, look, like, now you know I'm on your team. Now you know I'm going to obey your commands. It's as if he's trying to convince them to let him be the assassin, right?
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. I like that.
That's the vibe I got from this situation,
Yeah, a huge question that this chapter raises is what's going on with Rika, right? So we know that, so Getu said back when Gojo was getting sealed, when Gojo was like, don't you remember who knocked you out last time? And he was like, you're talking about Yuta? Well, he was only that strong because of Rika, and like Rika's not a thing anymore. You know what I mean? So I was always subscribed to the idea that he just was wrong, and or maybe just didn't have all of the information on, Okotsu. You know what I mean? I figured like maybe because what makes him so broken is his ability to just like unconditionally copy techniques, and that coupled with the infinite like curse energy that Rika gives them from like the cyclical like regret, fueling it, or whatever they said in Volume 0. But if all of the power, the copying power, and the infinite mana pool all come from Rika, then if she's gone, then it's over. You know what I mean?
Right. But she's not gone.
But she's not gone. Now this could either be Rika's still here and Geto was just wrong, or this could just be Yuta is just crazy and just still talks to her even though she's not doing anything. But I think that I think that like it's either this is the actual Rika, it's some kind of facsimile of Rika, you know what I mean, to some degree, where maybe it's not actually her, so he's not as broken as he was in Volume 0, but like he's come to terms with whatever situation he has, and he's found a way to still be strong and just ties his life to Rika still in a way to where he's still talking to her. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah,
but I mean, like him talking to Rika, like, and of course, like he could be being a little crazy, right? Like he definitely looks a little unhinged. I don't know if that's just like the style that Gege is kind of going with Yuta here. I mean, Yuta's always looked a little, depressed. I don't know. Yeah,
or
little
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Little something, little off, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. If it is not Rika and he is like just talking to nothing, talking to his imaginary friend, that's huge. I guess I'm currently leaning towards Rika actually being there, but like,
it has to be some kind of power regardless, because he attacks with the sword, doesn't kill it. He's talking to the little girl, and then casually the curse behind him just evaporates. So so I mean, like, and no one else showed up. Like another sorcerer didn't show up.
Right.
So I mean, like, he's got some kind of power, whether it's the actual Rika or not, we don't know. I'm assuming that's why we can't see it. You know what I mean? Which is really cool that Gege did it this way, because this girl can't see curses, I would assume. So Gege decides to show us Rika exercising the curse through like the vision of the little girl, so that we don't see Rika right now.
Sure.
Is the way that I kind of took it, because they're obviously
I can definitely see
reveal that probably. Yeah.
Right. And all she's like, or you could say like, all she sees is the blood, and of course we also see the blood, and that's what you're saying, but like she definitely is looking, right, and Yuta's like, you can see that, right? And it's kind of like, why would he ask, you can see that, if it's just blood? But maybe it's just like, you can see that huge amount of blood on the wall there. Isn't that super creepy? And he puts his hand in front of her face, right? And so it's very interesting, very mysterious. Obviously, I think we'll get more information about if Rika is really around really soon. Obviously,
I need to know, because like that's got to be like and I think I brought this up earlier in a group chat, and someone said that it could be a different Rika. I think it was Schnooty. I think Schnooty said it could be a different Rika because there were different characters used in this in this chapter than in previous chapters that use the name Rika. So there's apparently I haven't seen any. That's just what someone told me. So like, take that with a grain of salt, but a lot of speculation going on for this situation, obviously, because Geto literally said you don't, and we actually got like confirmation that Rika like kind of like wasn't a thing anymore even before Geto said what he said.
The thing I was thinking is that like Yuta's been overseas for a while, right? What if he was going to try and bring her back somehow, right? I don't know how you do that. Like I don't even know what that would entail, but maybe him being overseas was related to trying and getting back Rika or something, and maybe he succeeded and came back or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, we know that Jujutsu can do a variety of different things, so maybe like traveling overseas to a different culture, they found a society of people who use jujutsu differently, maybe on like more like prayer and like supernatural. Like we've seen seances, you know what I mean? We've seen all types of shit. So you never know. Right. But yeah, let's go back. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning, like the very beginning of the chapter, where like you see the map and it's like zooming into Tokyo. This is Tokyo Bay or whatever. And it's like, so you're seeing like the camera zooming in on Tokyo proper. Like the entirety of Tokyo is black. No lights on, right? Yeah. And then like we get this zoom out shot of Japan. That's Tokyo. Like the black spot is Tokyo. And then people are like, Kiko will be feasting right now, right? With these pages, seriously. Right? All 23 wards, almost entirely destroyed. Just like skimming these bubbles, right? There's like so many points here 10 million curses are released. At least
10
10 million
curses. That's way higher number than I thought we were going to.
Yeah,
to see.
We were talking like 1,000, right? Of course, that's what Getsu was saying. Like, okay, there's 1,000 of these curses and 1,000 sorcerers and 1,000 vessels or whatever. But like, there's also the curse spirits. Wild. People are saying like, okay, let's evacuate the entire city. Very interesting stuff on page 6 with like this sentence. There's a barrier centered on the imperial residence. And that's like the imperial residence is Tokyo proper. It's like really close to downtown. So it's like very proper Tokyo. So that's in this black area. And then there's the barrier centered directly above the tombs of the Star Corridor. Star Corridor is those Tengen people, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't remember if we ever got a translation for Star Corridor before, but the way that I just took it, just because it's been a while since I've read Hidden Inventory and shit, I just assumed that Star Corridor right here is supposed to be Star Plasma, you know.
That group.
One of the star names that we're familiar with.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless of what it is, and maybe it's some actual historical thing, but basically whoever's talking is saying we can force expansion of those, barriers to encompass the entirety of Tokyo.
Yeah.
To the prefecture's boundaries.
Right.
And then like people are saying like, let's make curses public. Right.
Yeah, and it's like, why would you do that? Yeah, because I mean that's just gonna create a fear cycle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like, no, don't do that.
Fucking people saying, let's just say spirits are only in Tokyo, right? Like to encourage people to evacuate, but also then to explain without mentioning what a barrier is. If you put a barrier around the entirety of Tokyo to keep the spirits in, you could say spirits are only in Tokyo. People could leave, but then like the spirits would only be there, but you wouldn't have to tell people about like cursed energy or barriers and that kind of stuff. They're just like, there's monsters, deal with it. There's just so much politics in these 3 pages. It's very impressive. It's exactly what I wanted.
It is very impressive, and it is exactly what we wanted. And these are reasons why I praise Gege's writing, because like writers like Gege and Togashi, they put logical consistency above everything else. You know what I mean? So then not only does that like allow for your power situation to make sense whenever fights are happening, but also like in regards to dialogue, the dialogue always feels so organic, as if these are conversations that people would actually have with the information that they're given, rather than conversations that need to happen to move the story forward, which a lot of it's a thin line, you know what I mean? Like a lot of like that's just something that I maybe like look too deep into. I don't know, but like, I feel like I pay really close attention to like character interactions and how organic they feel, and if they don't feel like they're like naturally occurring conversations, it really takes me out of the comic, you know what I mean?
Right.
But in stories,
where some people could think it's a little boring, right? For example, right at the bottom of page 7, someone's like, "Oh, that's why I recommend Itami as a candidate site for transferal when Kansai International Airport was built." And it's like, does anyone reading this know what that guy's talking about? But it sounds realistic in a political discussion of a bunch of people with their own shady back deals and their lobbyists and shit, like saying like, God damn it, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, I was trying to get this bill passed and you fuckers voted it down. And it's like this is realistic political banter, right? It's like frustrating and a little boring in some cases, but packed with very high level information that's super useful to make the world consistent. Like if a meteor hits Shibuya from a curse, and even they say here during this power vacuum, foreign military intervention is possible. Like this is everything that we were talking about in terms of you got to mention this shit, otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
And even though we have no idea like what dude is talking about in that bubble that you brought up, all we need to know is that like people that matter are talking and having serious conversations about this, and obviously important information is in there as well, but all of this fluff or whatever is like just adding to the theater of the scene, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we don't need to know who Itami is or Kanzaki International Airport. Like we don't need to know, like that's not information that matters, but it helps the scene, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But wow, Gege's art in this chapter was really on point for me. I just noticed a lot of, and their landscape, and environment shots have always been top tier.
For sure.
I mean? But this is one where there's just like no action and all dialogue. So I feel like the art inside of these landscape shops, inside of this convenience store, and just anywhere else just like pops a lot more. This like the contrast on like page 10 with this like decoy like human ghost thing coming out, like to lure her in. It's like, that's so fucking sick with the negative
so creepy.
Yeah, I love that. And the curse that comes out now when we get the page turn here and the curse is about to try to eat the little girl. Right. It's obviously got, the human or whatever on a bottom.
Like an anglerfish.
Like an anglerfish or whatever that is, and that's cool. Yeah. But I didn't see that he had hair before. Mm-hmm. So like that like super confused me because I was like, wait, who the hell is this guy? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but I figured it out pretty soon. But I
thought the exact same thing.
Yeah, that was the only like jarring moment, you know what I mean? But other than that, art extremely on point this entire time. For sure. I love the perspective on like the time passing in between Okotsu shielding the girl's eyes and then him being in the room with all of the the higher ups or whatever. I love that like angled perspective on the candle in the pillar.
And like the one panel of try not to overdo it is higher up. There's a gap at the bottom, and the next panel to the left with that candle is a little lower with a gap at the top. Mm-hmm. So like to imply like there's space in between those two panels that you could imply as time or whatever. So I just love it. Yeah, very, very, very subtle, but very good.
Very good. Absolutely. Holy shit, man. Seeing Inumaki with the talismans wrapped all over him and the arm gone. It's like now I'm assuming, I mean, I don't know. We've only ever seen talismans, wrapped around Sukuna's finger and inside of the room where, Gojo first, questioned Yuji, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I know that talismans can probably have a lot of different applications. We could probably assume this is doing something to maybe stop bleeding or help him recover to some degree. Mm-hmm. But if it's not, like, I don't know why else they would use talismans, but like, what if it's something else, you know what I mean, related to...
I mean, besides healing, the only thing that comes to mind is stopping an infection, like a Sukuna... doesn't just cut you, but he poisons you.
What if?
Right, something like that, right?
Yo, I like that.
And how about these last two pages? The notice from Jujutsu headquarters,
Bam.
right? Like,
free Yaga, free my guy. Why is Yaga? Like, what did Yaga do?
So okay, that's.
I know what he did, but like, come on, man.
But okay. So I don't know if like Isn't Gojo and Yaga being kind of framed a little bit for this, right?
For sure. They
say Gojo is an accomplice.
Yeah.
Bullshit, he's an accomplice. Like he was trying to stop this shit, right?
They hold him. This is an executive decision from them to go, okay, so Gojo's gone, so he can't help us anyway. He's kind of a dick. And like we kind of like want to do whatever we want to do without him bothering us. So like let's take advantage of this actually.
Right.
The bad
Make sure he never comes back.
Yeah, the bad guys didn't take over the world yet. So I mean like in the meantime, we still kind of run things. So like let's just frame Gojo, get Yaga out of here. Any other like sympathizers and supporters, let's just dust them under the rug and take this bitch over, bro. Like what? Right. Like this is our shit now. Gojo's gone is how I like am taking it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and which is just like fuck you, dude. Like
super fucked.
Yeah.
But it's you could believe it, right? Like if someone told you and you weren't there, you weren't reading the manga, you're a character in the story, right? Mm-hmm. Someone told you this, you might believe it because like one, Gojo is the guy. Why didn't he stop them? Right? Yeah. If he's the guy, if he's so much more powerful, and the reason why he didn't stop them obviously is because he was trying to save all these people and around and not just he could have obliterated everyone immediately and won, but he didn't want to do that. So he lost. And then Yaga, I guess, because he's been gunning for Yuji this whole time, like on behalf of Yuji, and also like taught Gojo and Geto, like you can like it's very unclear to me why Yaga needs to be put under the bus
because they know he's gonna shoot for him. They know that he's gonna ride for Yuji and Gojo. Yeah. He's gonna be like, you can't do this. Gojo went to he was first line of defense. He was literally the first dude there. Like, what are you talking? Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, and they know that, and he has enough pull to where, like him in like a diplomatic like deliberation, like his word like is gonna go really far there. So they just want to just say fuck it. He's a criminal. You know what I mean? Like,
So, how do we do? Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do we think that Yuta is gonna be Yuji's next brother?
Oh shit.
Activate that technique. Activate his hidden technique. Boom.
Oh,
you got a friend.
Now that you brought that up, that is something obviously that we have to think about, because that is how that's how Yuji loses fights. We know how he wins them, punches you, and you blow up. How he loses them, you beat him, and then you turn into his brother. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I trust Gege to write that. If they are going to use that every time, I trust them to write it great. But just for the sake of the conversation right now, I want to say this time with Rika fighting him is the time that the memory, shit doesn't happen for whatever reason. Maybe that means Yuji beats Yuta, which I don't know. I have no idea how. These are two main characters. You can't just say Yuji wins because he's the main character. Like, Okotsu is a main character too, the first one. Right. So it's like, I don't know how it would go. So it's like,
I could definitely see, for example, like I've said before, like my opinion on my theory on what the conditions of this hidden Yuji ability are includes the target. So in this case, Yuta would have to ask Yuji questions that he actually like really cares about the answer, like a question Yuta really cares about, and Yuji would have to answer truthfully. But correct me if I'm wrong here, but like the reason Toge Inumaki lost his arm, that was when Yuji was not in control. That was when Sukuna was in control of his body. Yeah, right?
We can assume that he lost his arm during the Malevolent Shrine attack against Maharaga. Yeah.
So I think you could probably say that Yuji couldn't answer that question, right? If say Yuta's like, what the fuck did you do to Inumaki?
Yeah.
Like, why did you do that? And Yuji would have to be like, I wasn't there, like I wasn't the guy. And so it wouldn't be like a qualifying answer to meet the conditions, say. That's just an idea I've had. But
but other than that, besides that disqualifier, like the conditions are there, like according to your assessment of the conditions of this ability, which has not been confirmed. This is just going back to your speculation back when the Choso fight happened. But based on that list of conditions you think have to be met, Okotsu has all the he has a reason to ask Yuji questions. He's mad about Inumaki. He knows that Yuji and Inumaki are linked. So like, why would you do that to our homeboy? Like, you know what I mean? Like all the conversation part is there. You know what I mean?
And Yuji should try to tell the truth if he knows it or if he can. Right. So he would. And then like you to like knock him out. Maybe his attack style isn't a knock you out kind of attack style, because Yuji was knocked out both in the Todo fight and in the Choso fight. Yeah. Which I thought was another chop
you in half.
Right. So maybe that like doesn't qualify for the condition either. But if you're like losing blood and you lose consciousness, maybe that would trigger it. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of potential outs we have to ensure that Yuta doesn't just fall under the spell of this, supposed hidden technique or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be really really interesting to have these two meet finally. I'm so excited.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. And oh, man, I just wish Kiko was here so I could just hear him just for like 30 seconds to be like, we got maps, we got guys in suits talking, oh, I'm hyped, and then just leave. All right, then we're done. That's all I needed. I just wanted that reaction. Oh,
so good.
Yeah, but we're eating regardless, man. This is
hell yeah.
Like this arc, like this next arc, like coming out of the Shibuya incident, it's like the things that the Shibuya incident set up. Obviously, there was a ton of hanging plot threads after that conflict before we got any of this information that mean, something to the narrative that we'll see very soon, hopefully. And then obviously this new information that this chapter gives us is the start of an entirely new arc. So now we know that there's 10 million, fucking curses running around, which is going to increase fear in general, across Japan, which is going to make curses stronger, but also sorcerers stronger, I guess, too, technically.
Sure.
But still, like this is a wild, like it's this civil war too. Yeah. On top of that, you know what I mean? We have a sorcerer civil war while the bad guys who like technically won the last arc are in a way better position than they were before. And like the focus isn't on them because there's a million curses running around. It's like, what do we do? This is already a way more drastic situation than Shibuya incident. Bravo, Gege. Like holy shit, dude.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Like, this is how you do this shit, man. And it just feels like it's so like systematically planned and accounted for since the beginning. You know what I mean?
Very fluid. It just flowed right into this. And now boom, new arc, but it's like everything makes total sense from my perspective, right? Like sure, there's hidden motivations of characters and government bodies and that kind of stuff that we don't know yet.
Right.
But like, why are we here? How did we get here? Completely clear, right?
Yes. I just can't wait for next chapter because I know that we're just going to see what Fushiguro and Yuji and Nobara are doing, hopefully. Which I mean, are we even going to have time for self-reflection, like aftermath, self-reflection, character growth, you know what I mean? Like looking in the mirror type shit, you know what I mean? Because Okosu, they press the button on dude, and he's probably like on his way to Buddy right now, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. But I mean, if Gege wants to keep it high octane, I have no problems with that. And I'm sure that we'll get, the kind of scenes that we're looking for eventually.
Right.
So
yep.
Very excited either way. But I think that's all I had for Jujutsu Kaisen this week.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, cool. All right. Getting into chapter 183 of Dr. Stone, Stone Sanctuary. I love this like double spread page cover with what's her name again? With the pumpkin head. I don't remember. Forget her name.
Yeah.
But yes, I just love her character and her design. I love the way that she talks. I just love that she gets like a spotlight here with like just a white background. It's just a beautiful drawing. I love that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like our squad has made their diamond, and then Senku immediately says, yeah, well, that one's too small. Go ahead and dig up one or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but why? Why did we just make that then?
Yeah.
But then we go into the difference between a lab-grown diamond and a natural diamond, in the sense that a lab-grown diamond is like harder. It's more perfect.
Right.
It has a more perfect crystalline structure, and therefore is harder. So like we're gonna need that to take a big diamond and cut it, right? Like you won't be able to cut it with like a hard piece of rock or metal or something. You need a diamond to cut it.
Yes. And I love how with a story like Dr. Stone, a lot of, like we've said before, a lot of our conversation, just comes from like examining the events and kind of like just discussing the things that we've had, because on the theory side of things, it's going to be kind of hard if we don't have like a specific kind of background. But despite all of that, I love how every chapter, like regardless, like it just gives you so much world building to talk about, so many character interactions to talk about. I learned so much from this story about like real world things that it's just like every single chapter, I feel like, even if the plot doesn't move at all, is still like a 10 out of 10 for like so many other reasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
Yeah. But so, my god, so Zeno, okay, so I have a question for you. Zeno, when he wraps this wire around his finger, he's obviously doing that to magnetize his finger things, right?
Well, his fingers are probably already magnetized.
Okay.
So like so if you I like definitely wrote quite a bit about this exact thing, right? So like in my notes here. But basically, like if you imagine an electric motor, right? Like, how does an electric motor work? You take a coil of wire and a magnet, and if you put electric current through the coiled wire, it makes an electric field. So if you have that electric field with a magnet right next to it, it's going to repel off the magnet, and like if you put it on an axle, it'll spin, right? So if you put electric current through it, it's going to spin. That's literally a motor, right? What he's doing is kind of the opposite, right? Instead of spinning, or instead of like putting electric current through a coil, he is moving a magnet next to, or rather in and out of, this coil. Now, moving a magnet in this way, because the magnet has a magnetic field, and moving it in and out of this coil, I'm pretty sure what that would do is make electricity. That's how a like a hydroelectric dam works. It turns something, and that's next to a magnet, which then generates electricity. So he's like basically putting his like magnetized finger in and out of this coil, causing electric signal, aka on this radio wire, he's causing radio bursts to go out to his companions.
So that's what Senku noticed when that little like screw connected to his finger. He put together what you just said.
He was like, oh shit. He was like, his fingers are magnets, like, goddamn. And when he was fidgeting earlier in their room, like he was probably fucking. So I think Senku literally knows exactly what this dude did. For sure.
God, that is so cool. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, this chapter. It's interesting. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's interesting though, because like basically, what Zeno sent out was just random nonsense, right? He didn't send out a message here. It'd be pretty difficult to send out a message in this scenario. And on page like 13, this dude's like, it's a meaningless signal, but it's like definitely man-made. And then Stanley's like, okay, it's some sort of warning. And that just triggers Ian Stanley remembering that previously when they were doing this, race through the Amazon, that Zeno has already told them where to go, which is Araha or whatever.
Yeah, Araksha.
Araxá.
Araxá, yeah.
So somewhere in Brazil with a lot of resources or whatever. So yeah, a very interesting series of steps to get from like point A to point B in terms of like this like scientific mystery, scientific like espionage kind of shit or whatever.
Exactly. It's like there's always, and it like reminds me of that time when they were getting chased and then they put Zeno on the back. You know, he was talking to, I can't remember who he was talking to, but he's like, shouldn't you put me, if you're getting shot at from behind, shouldn't you put me in the back so that they don't shoot? And then he puts him on the back and he sends him Morse code like by blinking or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like little advantages, passed back and forth on such an intensely intellectual level that it's like, this is like one of the best battle of wits that I've seen. And like you think of Death Note, you think of Promised Neverland. I even think of like, Kurama versus Kaito and like Yu Yu Hakusho Chapter Black. Like, I think of all of these like really well written battle of wits like arcs or like stretches of storytelling. And it's like this one I feel like would kind of like fly under the radar because of how much else there's going on. You know what I mean? They're trying to get away from Stanley. They're trying to find the resources they need. Obviously, the plot's trying to move forward while they're still following the plan of rebuilding everything while they're retreating. There's so much shit going on. Right. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it comes down to like this whole thing has just been Senku versus Zeno the entire time, regardless of what everyone else has been doing. And they're like chilling in close proximity, having regular conversations, without animosity. You know what I mean? Right. But they're still competing so intensely at the same time, even though they have such a chill vibe. Exactly. I've never seen anything like this before. It's it's really, really fun and crazy to like see.
But as you say, because it's not a straight one-on-one battle where like say L and Light and Death Note is like a one-on-one battle. And sure, there's the police and sure there's other characters, but like mostly it's like L and Light like directly trying to fuck with each other, right? So it's so obvious then that's a battle of wits between two people. Where this, because it's like team-based, you really lose the overtness of how much of a one-on-one battle this is, but it really is a one-on-one battle between, as you say, Senku and Zeno here. Very, very, very well done.
Very, very well done. And it's like I get to the end of the chapter and I'm like, all right, I just have to kind of just like reflect on what I just read. Like I can't think about the future, and it makes me suck because I'm like, because he says the final battle will go down deep in the Amazon at the Stone Sanctuary. That's hype, but I'm like, what does the final battle mean? Like it's probably gonna be like traps, like you can assume traps, or is he gonna build a weapon? Like what kind of weapon would it be? You have no idea. Like it could literally be anything. Yeah. Like, oh, I just want to know. It's like at least with other stories I can theorize and then I can sit on those ideas and like treat them as like headcanon until it's updated, until it's replaced. I can't even create maybes, you know what I mean, with Dr. Stone to tie me over until the chapters come out.
Which is also fun in its own way, right? Like it's if it's completely unpredictable, that you really have to let yourself go, just sit back and enjoy it. But
to see what Riichiro's got, like,
yes, exactly.
So they made an elevator, which is cool. I love the acquired stamps. I love seeing that progress, in that form like that.
I love the double spread, the kind of double spread on page 8 9. This like kind of like slotted panels like showing all the players in play, right? Senku, the boat, the people over in Corn Village or whatever, the Zeno's old base. The panel of Zeno in the middle here.
Yes.
Wow. I love that panel. Oh
and
my God.
Stanley's panel too, like.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Super sick.
And like I think I said it last week too, how Boichi like always puts a light source like right on Zeno's forehead, so you can always see the details of his skin with that
his
black
like skin texture.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, so good.
And so we're going over to this Araxá to found Super Alloy City, which is super sick. I mean,
love the drawing on that page. That looks so cool.
This like metal knight kind of thing looks very tight, very tight.
So they're, even though they're traveling around, the world for various reasons, there's still stops that they're making where they want to establish big, facilities in their grand scheme of rebuilding civilization. So everything is just so efficient. I love how efficient it feels. You know what I mean? It's like, we got to build a city there anyway. You know what I mean? So boom, boom, and like just seeing more and more pieces of Senku's plan, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But keep in mind that the plan is building a spaceship.
Right.
So the Corn City was to make fuel, like jet fuel, for the spaceship.
So they're not. Oh, so they're trying to get the spaceship just to go to the moon.
Yeah.
But then eventually they have to come back and rebuild the Earth.
Oh yeah. For sure. And like Corn City is not just fuel, but also like food for hundreds of thousands and millions of people, right? Like you really can't feed people quickly. Just by saying like, go find your own fucking food, people. Like you're gonna need to build up a lot of like cornmeal and agriculture kind of stuff. But yeah, like as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure we're still going through all these continents to collect the resources to make a spacecraft.
Yeah, and
because that's where we think Y-Man is.
I definitely forgot that we were going to get the spaceship to go to the moon. I completely forgot that was like a goal. But still, like, they got to use these cities after the ship. You know what I mean? Yeah.
These will be the first cities of humanity once it's back on its feet.
And that's just so cool to think about. You know what I mean? It's like, It's like eventually, like, I don't know if it's going to be handled in the form of like a time skip, or if we're actually if he's going to finish the final conflict of the series, and then we're going to get like a whole arc of him just going around and like fixing the planet would be really fucking sick. Or if I don't know how they're going to handle it, but that's just so cool to see. That situation is like at the end of a tunnel and we can see that light, you know what I mean? Because when you start this and you start in the stone world, you're like, oh my god, the journey is going to be so great, but it's going to take so long until we see new civilization, head by Senku, because it's going to look completely different, bro. You know what I mean? Like he's it's going to be way more advanced probably by the final chapter than like we ever were, you know what I mean? So like that's really like that's what I'm waiting to see, that drawing from Boichi, you know what I mean?
And a thought I've had a lot, as we've been progressing the story, is that it seems kind of like Y-Man, like this, the bad guy, that we've never seen, that, turned everyone to stone. I mean, if you look at the Earth is good. You know what I mean? Like all the trees are back, all the animals are back, the environment's completely turned around after humanity destroyed it in, our time right now, obviously. So like if we have someone like Senku at the helm, once humanity's back on its feet, then maybe we can have all these people and a functioning planet, that and a symbiosis between man and planet that we didn't have before. So it's very exciting to think about.
Yeah, and I feel like obviously the coolest thing for me to think about is that the people who were born in the stone world after the attack obviously don't have the same concept of modern society as the people who were frozen or petrified. So then the people that come out of that petrification, obviously Tsukasa Shishio is worried that they're just going to try to do the same thing that they did last time, which is a very good complaint and very good worry. But I think that I feel like the vast majority, and I think this is something that everyone, has thought of already, but like the vast majority of people after being depetrified will go, oh my god, the entire world is different. We know thousands of years have passed. One person and rebuilt all, like they would just respect that and be like, oh yeah, yo, like maybe we should respect this greenhouse gas situation a little bit more. Maybe we should like care about the things scientists say more, you know what I mean? And there just isn't that issue of airheaded whatever affiliation they have politically that denies science, you know what I mean? We don't have any more of those, you know what I mean? And like that is like, even though that's not happening in real life, like I'm happy that that's a possibility in Dr. Stone to just see that realization, like, man, we sucked before we were petrified. Let's not suck anymore, like in unison. Like, God, that's just so glorious.
Love it. Well, that's all I had for Dr. Stone this week.
Yeah, I think I'm good too. Okay, getting into Mashle, Magic and Muscles, Chapter 48, Mash Burn Dead, and the Lambs to the Slaughter.
Great chapter.
Incredible chapter. I love how they keep, emphasizing how much of a, I don't know, maybe not a douche, but like, I feel like I really do not like this guy.
I just want to tell you, I literally have my notes, douche. Like Order Madel is a douche. Like.
Yeah, order Madel. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, dude, if you make a little girl cry, even if it was her fault that she ran into you, bro, like just to have a stone cold,
it was his fault. He's a douche.
Yeah, but douche. Yeah, true. But I mean, like, even if she did bump into him, on her own or whatever, him just being like, and not being any cool character would have been like, oh my god, like even Smoker bought a girl
exactly.
a new ice cream.
This girl's like 2, like she doesn't know, like. This dude's a douche. This dude's a super douche. And then immediately after, like, this scene, it's like we're just like setting up, like, don't forget, for the record, this dude's a douche. Also, fast forward to this next scene where he's still being a douche to Mash, saying like, you're a shitbag with no magic. I hate you. I'm not ever gonna let the world acknowledge your value or whatever. It's like, all right, great. But I love like Mash. He's like talking to his muscles, like his muscles. He doesn't mean that, Mash. It's like, thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. I love Mash's dialogue, but I love Order's dialogue too, because he is just like the one. Now, a bunch of people agree with his stance on things, but he's obviously the zealot of this ideology. You know what I mean? And I think it's cool how you just, because obviously we have Black Clover, where we get comments from all types of peanut gallery that's not involved in any kind of actual combat ever, saying how much better royalty is than slum kids. You know what I mean? But like in so far in Mashle, it's just like this Order Madel dude. It's just like the living representation. Like every society that all of society that agrees with him just kind of like lives vicariously through this character. And I like it when it's all concentrated in that way, because you can go a couple different ways. If you whoop this dude, then like everyone who kind of shares his ideology might like kind of like fall back, or you could have the situation where someone worse replaces him, or whatever. But I like how it's handled, where it's not overbearing. We don't hear all the time from a variety of different people, you don't have magic, you suck, because I feel like that would feel way too much like Black Clover. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that it's just Order Madel right now being the most intense about this. You know what I mean? Even people really like on his side don't care as much about this as him. So
that's what I was gonna say. That like it is interesting that it seems most students and even maybe most Divine Visionaries like don't particularly care all that much. And maybe for the students, maybe it's mostly like they've seen Mash, they know he's a good kid, they've seen how powerful he is. It's as if he was magic. You know what I mean? He's so powerful, so it's like maybe they just know who he is and therefore aren't immediately against him. But it is still interesting that even after knowing he has magic, like people don't seem to care all that much. I mean, tons of people in the stands booing, which is to be expected. Because it's like the law, right? So there's all these like normie people who are just going with the status quo and bad that you don't have magic. But
no magic, you suck.
Right.
No, he's about to show them in droves what's good, you know what I mean? And he kind of already is by the end of this chapter. First of all, I love these Deddervants. This is one of the best drawings that I've seen like in this series so far. Like these guys just blew me away. I love their like butcher cleavers. They're like different shapes. Like one of them looks like Ichigo's Bankai.
On the right.
One of them is just like, I don't even know, just a big axe, you know what I mean? But it still feels like a butcher, cleaver at the same time.
The left one reminds me of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. Have you seen that character? It looks very similar to this, actually, like a big muscular dude, but big metal Pyramid Head, and then they're dragging this sword kind of thing.
I never played Silent Hill, but obviously I've seen that character. You know, like that's like what everyone has seen from Silent Hill, whether they played the game or not. And actually, now that I mention it, I don't think. No, that's definitely not Ichigo's Bankai. That's like one of his swords, though. But I don't think. I think his Bankai is the one with like the swastika on the handle.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess it's been a while since I've seen Bleach, but I think his first sword, when it goes Bankai, it looks a lot like that.
Shikai, very similar. That's what it is.
Oh,
it's a Shikai, I think. Yeah, Bleach fans, I'm sure Snooty will come for me. I'm all yours, man. Eat me alive.
I don't care.
I thought about that. I was like, no. I'm pretty sure the Bankai is like the super sleek black one with the swastika on the.
So does he start with this sword?
No,
and his Bankai gets smaller.
No, so like he has like the big, first sword you see after he whatever, when he first becomes a Soul Reaper. Then he goes into Shikai, which I believe then the sword looks like similar to this. It's still big. You know what I mean? But it's just like a more badass, big, less.
Sure.
I can't remember. I'd have to Google it, which I could easily do, but I don't care. So let's just continue.
Yeah. So these Deddervants are immune to magic, and homie gets immediately obliterated. That was great, funny. But then, page 1617. Go back to the 1617 double spread, dude. This, God, this art pops. It pops.
Oh, man. I just love the perspectives that Komoto uses to show, because it's always a drastic page turn, and it's always such a dynamic, like such a physical and like such a kinetic panel, whenever Vash shows out. And obviously he has to because he's a physical character. But I just love how it's always so, like, no matter what type magic we see, like we saw Black Partisan a couple chapters ago from Rain, and like that shit was like mind blowing. But it's like, MASH can just always keep up with just raw physical shit, and it's never like unbelievable, you know what I mean? Like it's always on par or above, the level of power that we've seen. And I love how it never feels awkward, it always feels right, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is just cool. Yeah.
Doubly cool because like in pages say 14, 15, basically the characters are kind of going, I don't understand, like if these things are immune to magic, like what is this, like a test of our running away? And they're like, yes, exactly, it is a test of your running away. Like if you're faced with an unbeatable opponent, a situation that's impossible to beat, you should run away. And Mash is like, I'm still gonna beat it up with my fists. So good.
Yeah, I mean, if magic won't work, as soon as they said that, I was like, well, Mash is obviously just gonna fucking knock this thing out, and that's gonna be fucking hype. But even though you knew that, it's just so cool to know that I'm assuming we can take this announcer's word for to be true. So the fact that they were actually trying to judge them on how well they ran away from an impossible situation, and Mash just obliterates it. It's like, how are they going to score this? Is he going to fail? Because are they going to make him fail? Because he didn't do the thing he was supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Well, at the end of the day, like he's just supposed to get this key, right?
True.
The Deader Vance are just there to get in your way.
I can just see them hating in that way, though.
For sure.
Because he doesn't have magic,
Yeah, shady shit, like saying like you broke the rules, even though like technically you didn't, but they can just make up rules. Yeah, for sure.
Or they could just say, yeah, you found the key, but like, cool, but like we really scored you like in other ways for this, so now your score in the ways that you didn't pass because you beat these things up is going to hurt you in another part of the exam. Right.
Like even though it's like better, it's still like worse by their shitty grading scale or whatever. Yeah. I can see that.
Oh my god.
Overall, just a great chapter, like front to back, like very, very fun read. Very excited. I'm just super excited for more.
Excited for more. The next chapter I feel like will be the first like real chapter of this tournament arc. Now that, because I mean, like obviously we can assume that these things have all just been one-shotted by Mash. They find the key, they move on. You know what I mean? Probably spend too much more time on this, and we'll probably start actually getting into 1v1 fights, which that's definitely something that as soon as they announced this arc, I was like, okay, Margaret versus anyone. I just need to see full power Margaret is why I'm here.
Yep.
But and I finally want to see Finn's magic too. But
obviously, for sure.
If we even get that this arc, you know what I mean. You never know. But
we're going to for sure. I guess unless Finn is eliminated in this round, which I imagine he wouldn't be. But I don't know. I do really hope we finally get to see Finn's magic, because obviously we've been waiting the entire story. So
yes. But yeah, not a whole lot of shit to speculate on. It moves pretty quick, and it's really to the point. So
yeah.
All right, that's all I had.
Same.
Okay, getting into Black Clover, chapter 280, Surging Disaster. And boy, does Tabata know how to really set up things to seem very dire in his story.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's one thing that he knows how to do very well, is setting up the threats.
Yeah.
And making the situation seem very unwinnable.
Right. I love in this chapter that we did get a lot of information, especially that answers a lot of the questions we had last week, especially me and Kiko going back and forth on what these demons are. So now we have confirmation that these are, like, both Kiko and I both had pieces, correct about this. Like together, I think we did figure it out overall. But yeah, like these devils, the fire and the ice one, they are from the first layer of the underworld, but they are also of the highest order. Like in terms of all devils that in existence, they are incredibly strong,
in the
which is great.
Of devils of the highest order, and they're just the first level of devils of the highest order.
They live in the first layer or whatever. And we even get on page 4 and 5 that it isn't just these two devils coming out of the portal, right? Which is like, oh, that makes I really, really love seeing this, because I'm like, I've been thinking all week, like why would there only be 2 that come out? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But then, of course, it isn't just 2.
Yeah,
it's the 2 that come out are like, ooh, like, here we go. We're free. Time to like do some high level magic play shit or whatever.
Right.
And of course, the rest of them, all these like lackey devils, they're just going berserk or whatever, right? They're like lower level ones, which makes total sense.
And I'm happy that now that the gate is open, all of the triad goes. This was the only thing keeping us from going 100%. I'm actually proud that this is something that I remembered as like a thing, because this is a very organic, shift into a higher level of power that I don't have to have a huge Black Clover fan remind me of, with an article or a screenshot or something. I remember this one. I know this one. It feels great. You know what I mean? When I because like them, Zeno, obviously we're still on that cliffhanger at him. But then he boom, and the reason why he wouldn't have probably been okay if this door didn't get open and he wasn't able to access the entire 100% of his depth.
Great point. Like there is the panel on the top left of page 7, Xenon saying, I couldn't win at 70%.
Yep.
But conveniently, this door just opened, so now I'm at 100%.
Yeah. Feels way feels way better and more organic than like any kind of like oops, psych, like you got me that we've seen so far. So yeah. So 8, 9. What do we think about these designs? I think the Xenon looks pretty cool. Xenon looks incredible. Vanica looks incredible, and I'm even fucking with Dante.
I'm not a big fan of Dante.
I'm not the biggest fan of Dante. I mean, it's obviously not that much of an aesthetic difference from the last Dante that we clowned, but I like it's slimmer. I like that, it's all black. There's no belt. You have like the negative space, coming up in tendrils up the knees and up the arms and whatnot. So like, it's definitely better. Yeah, but like my least favorite design of the 3 for sure.
It could also look cooler maybe when we see it in action.
Yes,
right. From this angle, because you have to do the really stark contrast because he's like all black. Maybe it looks a little weird and flat here. I think Xenon looks super cool. Xenon like this like so bones and like the horns and just like okay.
I love it. I love these 100% designs. And actually, I want to go back to page 2 because I love the panel on page 2 of Noct dodging all of the fireballs or whatever, the fire and ice balls or whatever those lances are. I just love how I like followed the whole thing. Like that's just such an amazing perspective.
On that panel, this panel is basically explicit confirmation if you know your sound effects that we are talking fire and ice here. So the fire attacks on the right, the bowl, that's definitely a fire sound. And on the left, that's an ice sound, like definitely an ice sound. You can almost hear it, from an anime, right? Like that kind of like high pitch, like from an ice chunks, shooting and breaking or whatever. So I love that confirmation. That we were wondering about, is it ice or rocks or whatever? And of course they're white here, so it's a little more clear even just from the drawing too that it's ice.
I love the designs of these random demon hordes that are fucking popping out of this. This spread is amazing.
They look sick.
Oh my god, this one like kind of like you see the one in like the super foreground, like the focal point demon, but then like the one to the right where he has like the mane and like the reptilian like kind of like style face with the shark teeth and the tongue coming out. He looks like Stain with horns.
Like Stain. Yes. But these a lot more Miura vibes. Like these look very like apostles from Berserk or whatever. And Tabata has done a lot of Berserk references throughout this whole arc or whatever. So a little bit of a throwback there, I'm sure.
Yes.
We have even the demon that Mario Leona defeated now is back also. So the gate is opened and this devil or demon or whatever on page 6, that devil is now back. So even Mario Leona saying like, the real fight starts now, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
But then going forward a ways or whatever, what the fuck is this other demon like dropping from the sky, page 16 or whatever?
Like it confused me because it looks so much like the one from page 6. You know what I mean? That I was like, but I'm pretty sure this one is the demon that Lumiere fought way back in the day in the elf like arc flashback, isn't it?
I
don't know. If it's not, then Tabata drew 3 entirely different demons like the exact same way. Because like I feel like this has to be. I thought that the one that Mario Leona was squaring up with was that demon from back then.
Right.
first.
And I think what we said last time, and when we talked about this on the podcast here, was that if you remember, that demon is dead, right? The skull is in the Spade Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Right. So to remind you again,
you guys
I'm pretty sure that one's
of,
dead.
Yeah, that last time. Yeah. Why the fuck, man? All these demons are all.
Well, they're just like the same class, right?
They're class. Yeah.
Yeah. But this one is different. I mean, it looks like a little thinner, lankier, longer hair, different horns, or whatever. So it is different. It looks very cool. Like, I really love the design. The page 15, where this thing is like coming into play or whatever.
Yeah, that's a great panel, dude.
It's so hype. Like, what the hell? Like the clouds. Yeah. Then you have the mountain, and it's like, what is that? And then there's the legs coming through the clouds. Like, oh, I have chills just thinking about like that'd be so terrifying. It'd be immense terror
just
if you saw that
giant feet coming out of the sky. Yeah. Oh no.
It's like, oh fuck.
Oh, and now everyone is noticing this demon now, no matter where they are, because this thing is literally like towering above everything. You know what I mean? So now the whole world is shook, and at least the people in this like country or whatever. But like, I love how I love when you get reactions, you know, shots like this from people farther away. You know, to see it helps drive home the scale of the situation.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, this thing's immense or whatever.
And now we see Asta and Libe.
Yeah.
Chilling.
They must be done training, or is this like is this panel
done?
Yeah, almost done, like kind of like doubling on the suspense in the sense that like they really need Asta, obviously. But he's not ready. Is that what we're trying to like convey here? That like you should remain suspenseful because he's not done, or are we like, oh, here we go, he's done, baby, ready to go? I don't know. We'll see next chapter, I suppose.
I think that this is like the first. I think this is like a glimpse into like, okay, he's almost done.
Sure.
And then the situation is going to get much more drastic. Yeah. And then we'll see maybe the grin, you know, the grin cliffhanger from Asta, like, I'm ready. Then the situation is going to get
a high five.
Yeah, a high five. Yep. And then after that, the situation is going to get even more drastic. And then Asta's going to pull up, you know, at the end of a chapter as a cliffhanger. Like, I'm here now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Big feels from Noct, page like 13, 14, where he's like, he's freaking out, right? Like, these devils are way too powerful. Yeah. Someone's got to keep him occupied. But Morris, if I leave Morris alone, like it's just gonna get worse. And he's like, "Ooh, all right, let's get ready to go all the way to fucking die for the cause." It's like, "Ooh, I'm actually fucking with this." Like, Noct is just so cool.
Die with me, please. Oh
yeah,
man. He's ready. And see, man, it's like, how is he even gonna deal? How is he gonna deal with this and Morris? And the horde, like, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to deal with the horde of devils that just popped out? You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's going to spread himself way too thin and probably come pretty close to dying, which is great for his character. But it's just like, man, it's like, you're assessing the entire situation. It's like, what is you and Plumede going to do? You know what I mean? I'm sitting here like, what is Noct's ult? Like, what is his ultimate attack? You know what I mean?
E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm. They all come out.
Yo,
Voltron. He's gonna form up like Voltron. He's gonna have one devil on the left arm, one devil on the right arm.
You're
legs.
absolutely right. It's definitely gonna be a Voltron because we already got Big O inside of the horse. That was the foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So yes, they're all just gonna and then they're gonna.
I can see it.
Tom, it's a better snap on that design because that's way too funny for me to take seriously right now. I need a drastic design to shut me up on that because I'm going crazy with that. If it forms like Voltron, bro, timeline's gonna.
Well, so far Noct has looked really pretty cool. Like I didn't really like the heavy one or whatever that much. I mean, it looked pretty cool, like Big O. I mean, it was cool that it looked like Big O, but I think we can see a very, very, very cool looking alt for Noct here in this battle.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for it, man. This was a great chapter, all-star chapter. Thank you, Top. This was beautiful.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I of course, like I said in the beginning, he does a really good job. He knows how to set up the conflict and make everything seem very dire. In my opinion, I feel like he can kind of miss the landing as far as like, executing the conflict resolution. But for right now, I'm having a great time. So we'll see. You know, we'll see what's up. But yeah. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this Black Clover chapter this week. So.
Just riding the wave of suspense and hype here, and trying to enjoy it as much as I can because it's very good. Like the art is slapping, it's very suspenseful, And I'm ready. I'm ready for more.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right.
That's all I had.
Yeah, me too. Okay, getting into My Hero Academia, chapter 299, Like Those Tragic Tales. This is a chapter that
phenomenal
chapter in general, but this is this is the area of Kohei's storytelling that I appreciate the most. So this is a huge chapter to me, and I love Hawks, and finally getting his background after being such an enigma hits really hard right here after the conflict, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love this backstory. I love this is the exact kind of backstory that I feel like Horikoshi just shines on, right? Where he's like, oh, I only saw heroes on TV. They were so pure fantasy to me, no more real than anime. And to like build it up like from like heroes didn't do anything for me. Right. I never saw heroes. I wasn't allowed to go outside. They were just like anime characters. And then to slowly bring that into, oh, like here's a stuffed animal of your favorite anime character, Endeavor. And then like your dad who's a shitbag and you hate or whatever, like Endeavor captured him and like, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be a hero too. Just like, oh, just slaps so hard.
Like heroes became real to me that day. Now that I was saved by one, and like that is just
the panel with the stuffed animal like running and like pointing, like let's go, like let's be heroes.
The symbolism and the metaphor of the doll coming to life and you know, like onward, you know what I mean? Like I'm real, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's just beautiful the way how poetic it was and how symbolic it was. And this is going back to what I was saying in Jujutsu Kaisen about when the family is having, you know, this argument. It feels very organic. These are the way that that people would actually feel with with receiving information like this. These are actual. Like, this feels so like such a real conversation. You know, like such real. Dysfunction, you know, in their family, you know what I mean? And Kohei just knows how to write people.
For sure.
You know, and I love this scene with this fucking genist mobile.
Yo!
I feel like this is Kohei because like one thing that is like kind of like a joke among, you know, comic book communities is like there's always a, you know, something mobile or like a something copter or like a something and it always has, you know, a button you press that does all of this wacky stuff, and it you know, all Spider-Man has a car for some reason. Like it's always it's all a meme. There's a Thanos copter, you know what I mean? Like it gets ridiculous, you know what I mean? So I think that this is maybe Kohei trying to say, hey, I really like the Batmobile. I want a Batmobile in my story. I'm not gonna put a Batman in here, obviously. So like maybe I can just live that moment vicariously through Best Jeanist in this one scene. I doubt we'll see this this Gene Mobile do things like this all that, you know, more often throughout the series. So
sure.
For now, it feels to me like it's Kohei being like, hey, you know, this is still a meme in my story too.
But it also is really cool. I mean,
it also is really, really fucking cool
to be able to shoot out fibers like carbon metal fibers or whatever that he can control in the car. Like you could do so much with this car. You could like shoot wires to like two buildings and then like retract them and like shoot your car like a slingshot or whatever.
Go gadget slingshot.
Easy. There's so much to do with this thing. It's actually really cool.
But just like the fact that Genus is so comical, you know, this chapter, and he always is, you know, he always does have his like denim puns, you know what I mean?
Denim puns.
But I feel like this was such a tense chapter, and he just cut it so hard with comedy using Best Genus and this car being there, you know what I mean? Like it feels so memey to me.
Yeah.
But
right away in this car scene where you know, Hawks wakes up from his flashback dream or whatever.
Yes.
And you realize that he's wearing this mask. He's talking through a text to speech on his phone.
Ting, 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 ting. Yeah.
Wow. Like he's just like Todoroki, right? Like he was severely burned by Dabi or whatever, and man,
damage consistency. Another
it thing. Looks so painful. It looks
it does look like just knowing that he has to use speech to text will tell you like this shit sucks in here. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be terrible. But but like I was saying, the consistency, the damage consistency, right? It's like if you're going to give Todoroki a scarred or a burned throat and he can't speak, anyone else who fought Dabi to that degree, especially Hawks who took the most damage, he's got to have a fucked up throat too. It's just like little shit like that just Kohei flexing how thorough he is, you know, and how much he's thought about this, you know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
Man. Look at this page 18. This entire page. Why do you even have those wings? into the saving people, hugging the Endeavor doll, like in like a Polaroid style, panel. Oh my god, beautiful, dude. There's
amazing.
So much, and I love the just like all throughout the art. I feel like the art can shine so much when it's just character work. You know what I mean? You can really, there's no action. There's not really any action, so you can really spend your time making these faces. Express the emotions you want them to. That's why these character, chapters hit so hard, is because Kohei can really get in that facial expression bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Like this page on this panel on page 17. It's not like the most drastic panel, but just like the texture, the texture technique used with like these dots, like that dot effect. I don't know what the technique is actually called, but I love seeing that. Kohei uses that a lot whenever it's a very sentimental moment. You know what I mean? Man, look at that.
I want to talk about page 13, right? So Best Jeanist and Hawks, mostly Best Jeanist, have just taken care of these thugs or whatever. And of course, like we get a lot of subtle background here, right, where like these thugs are in control, and Best Jeanist is your local heroes, and they're like, they quit. Like they were so sick of being criticized by regular people that they quit, and we're all alone here. And then this dude, page 12, he's like, who needs heroes anyway? And he's wearing some sort of like gadget on his arm. I'm betting this dude is quirkless. He's wearing some sort of glove from Deternat or something, right? Of some weapon that non-quirk users can use against quirk type people. You ever seen Legend of Korra?
No,
Avatar?
I haven't seen Legend of Korra, no.
The first arc has like this exact situation where there's like people who can't bend. They can't do like earth bending or water bending or anything. They use
technology.
But they use technology to fuck up benders, right? Like I get big vibes from that. And then top of page 13, initially, when I saw the top of page 13, this panel, I was so focused on the dude in the middle with like the kind of bob bangs or whatever, right?
Yeah, the bang.
Because this in the next panel, Best Jeanist is like, which one is it? No, it's like, the big one in the back. And I thought he was like talking about the big dude in the back. But he's not talking about that. He's talking about his house is the big one in the back.
Oh.
And if you look up at that panel on the top, it's not just that one guy who's angry. The guy to the left is angry. The guy to the right is angry. The lady on the far right is angry.
Everyone
the
who's
chameleon
pissed is drawn different. Yeah, it has a different shading technique. Yeah.
So I love this panel so much because it shows the subtle the opinion of the populace, right, is very divided, right? Yes, some people are super excited to see Best Jeanist here. Some people are pissed that heroes are here fucking shit up, or they're either mad at how inept they are, or they're mad at them for now they're subscribing to this paranormal liberation kind of revolutionary ideology of wanting to be out from the boot of the Hero Association or whatever. So it's like so subtle, but like it's just really nicely done.
And what it does is it sets up a situation where it's making me think of comic books here inside of a story like God Loves Man Kills, which is like the quintessential X-Men story. It really established that like racism and like civil rights allegory inside of the series. Like that was the book that really established that. And the Purifiers are a faction of mutant killers that think that they're doing it because God wants them to, you know what I mean? They're the most intense kind of zealot you can be with religious motivations like that. And but the main point of it was that what's so scary about the Purifiers is that they feel like a military unit. You know what I mean? They feel like they're very highly trained. They shoot with purpose. No, wasted shots. Boom, 2 to the heart, 1, to the computer. All types of shit that you see in all of the high octane, war shit. But they're just regular people at the end of the day. They go home and they're accountants. They go home and they're clerks at shopping, gas station clerks and shit. You know what I mean? You don't know. And once they're done with their shit, they blend back into society. You know what I mean? And seeing a panel like this, where the situation is divided, it makes me think: are we going to see a civil war, kind of situation inside of society after an event like this, where people are just ready to say fuck it and take up arms? And it's like, how do you know which ones are against you and which ones are for you when all you're doing is looking at facial expressions in a crowd? You know what I mean? You can't tell. Like that's such a big like thing for stakes in this series. I feel like if they are going to form a faction similar to the Purifiers in that regard, and if they're going to be using technology, as quirkless people, this is an area of the story that I have been so excited to see if we do get it. You know what I mean? Because that's on everybody's mind. As soon as they start talking about hero tech and how advanced it is in like the sports festival arc.
Yep.
That's when you start really getting like Hatsume Mei starts telling you everything, and you start like finding out more about the areas of the school. Once you start finding out that there's all kinds of gadget, there's a whole gadget arm of hero, society. The first thing you think of is, okay, so like there's a whole bunch of superheroes that don't have quirks and just use items, right? But then All Might kind of comes in and says, no, you don't want to rely on. I tried to use items back in the day, but I was too strong for it. You know what I mean? You really only want things that help you with movement or help you with defense, to a certain degree. You don't want to like rely offensively on any of this tech to that high of a degree. But these people don't really have a choice, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And if they all band together, then that's really scary. Yeah, one hero by himself using, hero tech, probably accidentally break it and then he's done or whatever. But like everyone together, some are going to be more effective than others, and it's a battle of attrition anyway. So like that's a really scary situation to think about inside of the hero world, man.
For sure.
Yeah. Didn't think that we'd see that. Like there was a chance that we couldn't see that. So I'm very excited that at least it seems like there's breadcrumbs forming for that.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. The other thing I want to talk about is Hawks' parents.
Yes.
So it's a little hard to tell, but I guess the easy one to tell is the mom, right? What is her name? Tomie. Tomie, she has these like floating eyeballs next to her. That's obviously her quirk. She has like an extra set of eyes, and they float. So that must be where Hawks is getting how his wings, his feathers float and can move around intentionally.
Yes.
And now I think if you look at the very first page, very bottom panel, and you see the dad, and he's kind of behind this right speech bubble.
Yep.
Look at his left arm.
Yep.
There looks to be like a feather-looking, spiky kind of thing coming out of his arm.
Yeah.
So it's like the dad maybe has feathers, and the mom has floating and combined floating feathers, which is like the optimal thing for feathers, right?
Yes.
Like, because no wings would really be able to like probably make you fly if you're this huge of an animal, right?
Yeah.
Birds are like totally built differently. But if they're floating feathers,
I was thinking that it was kind of a stretch that he has these wings, but he also controlled each feather like psionically. I didn't know like, how where that came from. If now if his quirk was like Hawk, and he just, was like a Suyu, but the bird version, then like obviously controlling the feathers individually is out of the question. But the quirk is just fierce wings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could go, okay, sure, he just can fly and have perfect control over all of his, but it still doesn't feel good enough that he can control each one mentally, you know what I mean? But looking at
here we go.
Yeah, seeing his parents and what their quirks are puts that into perspective, and that's I didn't even think about that. Like that's really fucking cool that you just pointed that out. Like I had no idea what those eyeballs were. I don't really see their use very much. I mean, like having 2 extra eyes, I guess it's pretty useful in a minor way. This way and
it's useful. It's minorly useful. But like together with presumably his dad having these feathers or whatever, his hair looks very feathery. I mean, so does Hawks' hair looks very feathery, and his mom's hair looks a lot like his hair. But yeah, like this like kind of stuff off his coat. I guess it could be his coat, but I don't know. Like that first page looks very, very spiky and not part of a shirt. It looks like a spiky feather or
and
whatever.
I don't think Kohei would make it like look that close just to say like no, he doesn't have a wing. Like this is just the shirt he was wearing that day.
Right.
That seems so much less likely than just like he has a feather based quirk of coming out of the whatever the fuck it is. Maybe they're not Maybe they're not feathers. Maybe they're whatever feathers were before they were feathers. And they're just like, like evolutionary. He's reptilian to some degree. You know what I mean? And he has dinosaur qualities of some kind or something. I don't know.
But definitely, I love what you said that like yes, Hawks' ability, his quirk seemed a little unclear and broken. Like why can he do it this way? Like why does it work this way? But I love this subtle explanation we get in this chapter. It makes me feel a lot better about Hawks' quirk for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and we, for all we know, Kohei could have an entirely different explanation for it that's not related to the floating eyes, but that just sounds too good.
Yeah.
That sounds like that has to be the reason why he's able to control each feather individually.
One individually, yeah.
Because she's psionically controlling floating things around her. So that's really fucking cool, man.
Page 7, we have some government people talking to his mom and him and being like, all right, like why? I'm very unclear as to why, but they're like, for some reason that we're not going to say, we're going to support you and your family. All you have to do, or I mean, what one thing you have to do is you have to give up your name. You can't use that name anymore. We're going to keep you safe and whatever. I guess, are we assuming, and this is back, many chapters ago, I think we also were given this assumption, but like the government just saw Hawks' ability and they're like, we need to train this kid to be a hero, right?
Yeah,
like it's so OP of an ability.
Yeah, and it's just a really easy, kind of situation where we can really easily mold this kid because he's so young, you know what I mean? And
and like the symbolism of like, just like say Archangel and X-Men, right? Like the symbolism of having like a winged person who, can fly and save people, like that just like makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, like you have a guardian angel,
Yes,
over you.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, of course the government would want to have that PR, that optics, right? Of like being like, angelic and saving you or whatever.
And I was very surprised to actually even see this backstory for Hawks, because I was really confident that he would have a similar, kind of backstory as Warren Worthington Angel from X-Men, you know what I mean? But I mean, he comes from a very rich family, you know what I mean? And his parents are, his dad at least is really important.
Oh, he's like a senator, right? He's some sort of
he owns a very big business or something like that.
Oh,
he's a very important person financially,
right?
Which makes him, that much more influential because he uses that platform to speak and people listen because he's so rich or whatever. I don't know, but either way, like his family comes from money, hella,
right?
So it's starkly different than this,
right?
You know what I mean? But still kind of feels the same, because I feel like Angel didn't really want to be a hero, either, at first, but still very different, but which was so surprising to me.
We get confirmation of what the hell happened when Hawks turned in Best Jeanus's dead body. It was Best Jeanus.
Yes,
and he was just in a death-like state from intense medical technology or whatever. It's like, whoa, okay.
Would have never guessed that. God damn
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. But it's like, that was like, we were really thinking about that for a long time.
Yeah, like what could that be?
Was it a string clone? Was it a lookalike? Was it a...
Right.
Like what, because... But here we go.
But they lay it all out here, right? Like you couldn't use a string clone because Dobby is so suspicious. He would have checked it out, and like, and we were talking about that too. I feel like, right?
Yes,
we're like, wouldn't you check the body?
Yes.
And he did check the body. So like, the only piece we were missing was, what if there's technology that just makes you look dead, right? Like, okay, great.
It's like, duh, we've seen that a million fucking times. God damn it, Kohei.
Yeah.
Oh man, all in all though, beautiful chapter. This was like a love letter to me. These are like my favorite kind of chapters to get from, from My Hero Academia. I wouldn't say that I would like this for the whole story with none of the action, but
sure.
Like all things considered, these are the chapters that slap the hardest to me.
What last thing I have is a question for you. What do you think of this last page where Hawks is like, what's your plan? Endeavor's in trouble. I gotta save the boy who made me a hero in the first place, right? Like, what do you think about this?
I think that he obviously has information that he wants to try to use to like help clear Endeavor's name. Obviously,
sure.
Him, I mean, I feel like Dobby, back in that scene when they were fighting, he knows Hawks from before he was like Hawks, or knows some information about his life before.
Yeah.
Or at least his life in the program, because I think
he knew his original name, not even his new name. We get his last name here on page 13. It's Ukai.
Yeah.
So his new name is Ukai Keigo, presumably, or maybe Ukai something else. But Dobby knew his first name, Takami Keigo.
Yeah, that's right. So I would assume that since Hawks and Dobby are like linked in some way above what has been shown to us, directly, I think that Hawks wants to try to use that situation with Dobby to try to speak on behalf of Endeavor to the public, since he's a much more trustworthy hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that
more like people friendly.
People friendly, yeah, there we go. I think that he will obviously try to clear his name to the best of his ability with the information that he has, that he shares, in his history with Dobby, is what I think he's trying to do here. So
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes, because like we've talked a lot about, is Endeavor actually a good guy? I mean, obviously he's a good guy on the team, good guy team or whatever, but like he seems like kind of a shitty guy, and that a lot of the things Dobby says was real and like true, and we should be mad about it.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how this is handled. Like, is this going to have all this stuff just brush over? Are people going to be mad at Hawks in addition to be mad at Endeavor? I don't know. It'll be very interesting. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go exactly.
I think Hawks makes a public speech telling the world about his origin story, and even more about it that we don't know, obviously, that and how it ties to Dabi. You know, in a way that somehow makes Endeavor look better than he does now. I mean, Endeavor, no matter what, is going to have to face the things that he did.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the public
for sure.
knowing that. But is, you know, that information enough to completely ruin him? Probably. And if so, like, sorry, you blew it. You know what I mean? But I think that Hawks will try to mitigate that as best as he can in a way that hopefully will bring people, you know, more around to the idea that, okay, Endeavor sucks, but I mean, he's still our number one hero. Let's not get him entirely out of here, but like, let's not completely sweep this under the rug.
Right. Yeah.
But
for sure,
very interesting to think about.
Yeah.
But I think
that's all I had.
Yeah, I'm good too, man. All right. Peace de Resistance. One Piece chapter 1002. 4 Emperors versus New Generation, and of course the chapter is ridiculous, but this cover story with Lucci is great to see. Yeah,
I think we have on the bag of seeds or whatever, it says Hato, and like, of course, the bird's name is Hattori, so it's probably like Hattori's seed. You know, and like all these birds ganged up on him and took all the seed from him. He's like crying in the foreground. You got a little bop on the head or whatever.
And Lucci just let it happen. He's like, whatever. He's probably telling him, like, you got to share Hattori.
Or he's saying, like, if you want this, you got to level up, buddy. You got to train.
Yeah.
You got to get stronger.
If you want these Scooby snacks, these Hattori snacks back.
All these pigeons got hockey. Where's your hockey?
Look at these pigeons' designs, though. Like, look at this one with the afro and the scar on its cheek. Look at this one with the chain. One's got like a gold chain and shit. God, I love
scars and hair and shit. Like it's just like a fun little cover or whatever.
Yes, good shit, Oda. But yes, getting into this shit, man.
Yo.
Let's just go through like this panel by panel and just talk about this hype here, bro. Like demolishing
Kaido,
Gust.
demolishing Gust, and so we have how our current, new generation like deals with this, right? So obviously Law just shambles away, and Kid, he doesn't care. Like this doesn't affect him at all, right? Like cutting
He's in a Gundam.
Punk, cutting Punk Gibson or whatever. Like he just puts it back together with magnetism. He doesn't care at all.
Right.
The sick ones, I think, is Tink. Zoro, Tink, yo. And then look at the panel on the bottom of page 3 with Luffy. He's dodging, like so sick, dude. Oh my god,
rocks his shit. Kong rifle, pow! And I love how, like, obviously we don't see, the turning of it because it's obviously in Gear 4, so it's gonna have the movement of a jet. So you're not gonna actually see the movement, but it's a rifle because of how Kaido reacts and the perspective of him like twisting. You know what I mean?
Impact.
Yeah.
Look at the impact.
And
it's
the impact
twisting.
is swirly. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So sick. And then into a slam Gibson or whatever. Yo.
Body slam this man, bro. Oh my god. Shit. Go ahead, Kid Stans.
Damn.
Yes, I love that.
And then following into with Law the Gamma Knife.
Yes.
Like, ooh. And I love where he says, like, I've never seen an anatomical chart of a dragon, but I guess the heart is right here.
About
Gamma Knife. Shit.
And honestly, like, we know where that scar is on his real body. Which is on the chest, right by the heart. So you can just go, the scar, you're a way bigger body here, but the scar is here. This is an indicator. Boom, heart's probably close
I love
to the scar
that.
Still, yeah.
I didn't think about that. I love that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But man.
Let's see. This is an interesting one. So now we're getting into Killer, running up the scales. And then Killer does this Scyther Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very interesting because, like, it's kind of hard for me to tell exactly what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, in my opinion, we're not seeing giant blades that are literally cutting Kaido here. Especially if you look on the right side, like say below the Scyther bubble.
Mm-hmm.
That blade is really wobbly.
Yes.
Right. So it looks to me like this. Fighting spirits, or like just like it's so sharp. It's as if it were drawn for effect or something. Like that's how badass this is or whatever. And then
because I feel like if this was real, and you never know. I mean, if it was real, I feel like there would be more build up and more coming out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there would have been a panel before and a panel after for the setup and coming out of the technique. But since this is just like boom, Scyther Sonic, and you want to know what? Scyther Sonic, if it's like sound based,
sure,
then like it could just be like he made like this is some kind of like Sonic representation of like more damage because of how fast it's going. I have no idea. But I'm with you. I don't think that this is actually happening the way that we're seeing it.
Yeah, now you mentioned Sonic, like what if it's so fast that the blade is like breaking the sound barrier?
Right.
So this is kind of like drawing, like it's like really fast, and therefore the fastness makes it more impactful, therefore it cuts more. So like it's really crazy. Like here's how crazy it is. I'm just gonna draw it crazy. It's a little that's like a little difficult for me to see what is going on exactly.
But like how fucking sick is the progression of this chapter with all of the focus that the characters are getting in like literally like the perfect way, like Killer doing this and running up the side. Like you want to show Killer doing this. This is his fighting style. Like, so totally his fighting style, just run up the entire length of Kaido, slashing him the entire way. It's just remembering your characters and like just making the best decisions for them now. And it's like we haven't seen Killer fight in a long ass time. These are things that it's impressive. I mean, it is his story, so he should know. But there's a lot of fucking characters, and Oda actually came out and said like sometimes I gotta like go hit the wiki on my own story sometimes, so it's just I don't know. I love everything about this. Oh my god, Big Mom
flexing here. Indra. Yo, like I love this. As long as you're under the open sky, there is no escape for you. Yo.
Yes.
And damn, like I guess there's parts before we get more Big Mom action. So like I like that Kaido says like they are more vexing than I imagined here, right? Like already setting the stage that like, wow, these guys are actually like doing damage here. They're doing damage. They're way stronger than I was expecting.
Yes.
Love to hear that.
Hell yeah.
And then
Big Mom okay, so Zoro slices through the fire breath.
Yes.
Law shambles me up, slices through the fire breath. Hell yeah, so sick. One sword style into the Enma, flying dragon blaze. But he misses, and then he gets zapped by the Indra. But obviously, we know he's about to eat that shit.
Right.
I saw someone on Twitter that was like, Big Mom thinks that she's the only one with Hindu named attacks.
Ashura! Yo.
Oh my
god. So here, getting into page 14 here. I actually have a big question about this attack, right? So on the wiki, it says, I looked it up just to confirm, like, have we seen this attack before? And like this Indra and this god of lightning Tenjin, like the wiki is like, oh yeah, this is a Zeus attack, right? Which I definitely see how people could think that, because like it's lightning, Zeus is a cloud, right? But these are the first times we're seeing like this god of lightning Tenjin, and the lightning itself, say like in the middle of the 14-15 spread, like the lightning itself has a face. Also, I don't see Prometheus anywhere. So I'm like wondering,
lightning itself. Oh yeah.
Like the lightning bolt.
Yes.
The lightning bolt itself is a thing and is like literally like moving around and shocking people and has a face and can talk, just like Zeus, Prometheus, Napoleon.
Yeah.
But I don't see Prometheus anywhere. So I'm wondering, like, is this Prometheus like lightning form? Or did Big Mom unsummon Prometheus because he's useless in a rainstorm, and then went up to the clouds,
repurposed the soul into a lightning bolt.
Took the lightning clouds and said, hey, that lightning, bzz, soul no me, or whatever, right? Like whatever her Delphord is, and possessed a soul as one of her new homies, and now this is God of Lightning Tenjin, a new homie, right? Like I'm pretty much up for either. Like I'm fine with this being a Zeus attack or whatever.
So do we see Napoleon as a conductor and get like lightning blade type shit?
Yo,
are we gonna see like super crazy Big Mom homie combinations that we didn't get in Whole Cake Island?
I would love that.
Yo.
But regardless, Big Mom is super flexing here. She is so badass in this chapter.
We knew that. We were just waiting for her to activate. I mean, obviously, like this is a comedy, and you know Oda is going to use his characters as memes whenever he wants. We've seen plenty of characters that we know are wildly wildly strong in really funny situations for long stretches of time. You know what I mean? So the people complaining that Big Mom has looked really underwhelming this entire time, it's like, obviously she's being saved for something.
Right.
Like right now. So it's like
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I never understood that complaint. But
sure.
Yes, she is here in full effect, and there's no more confusion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But damn, and then of course we get the classic One Piece comedy, like Luffy obviously unaffected by this lightning attack, and Big Mom's like, why didn't it work on you? And he just answers, Gomu dakara, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm rubber.
Of course she doesn't know about rubber. She's got like 100 kids.
When you said someone said that, oh my god!
I think it was. I think I saw Prototype Virgo tweet that.
That's absolute comedy, like peak comedy. Oh my god! But then getting into the blast breath and Luffy being unaffected by that, and then why doesn't my flame work either? Guts. Is that really why? Does that mean like I just have really high hockey? Like guts. It seems like so. Campy cliche, you know, like what is this, Asta? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm stomping my foot down and I'm saying, no, I'm not going to be affected by your attack.
Or maybe maybe they're saving the Fire Fist Ace, situation for like later. I don't know if Kaido ever like ran into Ace or anything like that. He probably knows about Ace and like Roger, obviously, now that moving forward is like over. So maybe he says guts because he didn't want to say Ace right here because that's going to be used for reveal later to some degree. I don't know.
Or like, does Luffy know why?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe Luffy doesn't even know why, and he just said the first thing that came to his mind.
And I totally had the same thought that you're having here, right? That like Luffy can do Red Hawk, Red Rock. Obviously, Luffy has, for some reason that is not fully explained yet, he has some sort of fire attribute to some of his attacks, right? And is that like going forward? Is that because, say, the Minks have an electric aspect to their attacks, and Luffy has a fire aspect to his attacks? So there's like elemental type attacks that we're gonna like hash out the magic system further going forward.
Or it could just be Oda trying to respect physics and going, he's punching so fast and so hard that the air molecules don't have time to get out of the way. So they like explode on contact. Right. You know what I mean? I could see it being something like that because that's like, you see that all the time in like Hulk physics. You know what I mean? For the Incredible Hulk.
Now, regardless, like if it's an Ace fire element, like literally fire element based thing, Luffy may not even know that, right? Right. And then that could be like, oh well, why? Guts. I'm just that badass, right? I don't know. Like I don't know, guts. Now, guts I think also could work if it's hockey, right? Yes. If your hockey is strong enough and you're just that badass, it wouldn't hurt you, right? Yeah. Like you just have your armament hockey up and you'd be totally fine. So like that also makes sense for that. But I guess if there were that, like, wouldn't I just say like hockey? Yeah. But maybe that's like Kaido means the same thing.
Has had to have fought in very high level hockey, armament hockey users that his flame has probably worked on. You know what I mean? So like if the flames specifically aren't working after like a direct attack, like it's got to be something other than just, I don't know. Guts is just such a weird answer because it's like, Kaido has to know how effective his flames are, you know what I mean? Like him being confused as to why they're not working has to be something more than just, I ate that shit, so what? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. This definitely, as it is written, I'm not. I hope it's. I really doubt it's going to be explained. I really doubt it.
Translations. I didn't read the scanlations for this chapter. I don't think so. Maybe there's a different word. On the fan scan. I don't know.
I would really love to know that word for sure. But like as it is written here, I'm definitely skeptical of it. And like it's fine. Like everyone, has off days or whatever in terms of writing, I'm sure. But like I'm not a big fan of the guts, like straight guts, right? Yeah, I really doubt it's going to be explained. But obviously as we did, like you can definitely think of reasons to explain it, but it still rubs me the wrong way, right?
Yeah,
like why did you set it up this way? I don't know.
Guts, especially coming out of such a badass moment with Big Mom, like Rubber, what's up?
Rubber, yeah.
What about my flames? It's just should have saved Rubber maybe for the second one. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's just so weird to hear after the Big Mom exchange. Yeah.
I mean, unless it's meant to just literally be like, I beasted that shit, get over it. Like, but it's like, I guess that's fine, but could you not have described that somehow other way?
Right. I mean, well, you could also look at it as Luffy's hockey is entirely on point. His state of mind, he knows exactly what he's trying to do. Kaido is on a back leg, you know what I mean?
Right.
So the hockey differential is probably
if we literally got a panel, even a part of a panel of Kaido thinking in his head, damn, Luffy's hockey is impressive.
Yeah.
That would be good enough for me. I'd be completely content with everything here.
Yeah, same.
So maybe we might get that. Yeah.
Yeah. We could come out of like that could be the first panel of the next chapter. Boom, coming out of this, Jet coming out of this Kong Gatling. Holy shit.
Gatling.
Holy shit, by the way. Yes.
Jesus.
I knew it was just a matter of time.
Yes.
But like, oh my god, it's so glorious.
It's amazing.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh.
Beautiful. But yeah,
so
we
think
we could go into the next chapter like with that quote. Yeah.
Right. How soon do you think until we get hybrid form?
I think after this onslaught will be enough to like have Kaido go, okay.
All right. Time to be serious.
I think it would be a little bit too redundant if he got back up after this just to get hit again and then go into hybrid. What is going to be different? Like he's already dealt with this with the scabbards, whooped him, dealing with it again with okay, it's time now. You know what I mean? Like we're like, how much more of Act 3 do we even have?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like if you go the whole first 3 acts without showing anything besides human and like dragon form, it's like there's way too much going on here. It's time.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, fantastic chapter. I mean, that's all I had, I think. Front to back, just pure enjoyment. Just love the whole thing, obviously.
Yeah, fan service, out the yin yang in regard like love letters to stands of all of the characters involved on either side. I feel like even Kaido stands are still eating, even though he's getting whooped the entire chapter. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, but he's not out yet for sure.
But I mean, this is just a great chapter for everyone on screen.
Yeah. 100%.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I think that'll do it for tonight's conversation. Thank you all so much for watching if you did. Make sure you slap a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and hit the notification bell next to it so that we can chirp y'all when new content is live. Also, make sure you take a look at the description down below so you can follow us on our social media accounts like Twitter, join our Discord, and other online communities associated with Project Manga. Also, if you prefer to listen to podcasts on Spotify, Apple Music, and the like, there are links down in the description that will show you how to consume this show in an audio-only platform like those. And there's links on how to support the Project Manga podcast, including our online store and Patreon as well. But with all that said, I think that'll do it. I think we killed it, Nick. Just us two tonight. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. Let us know in Discord or in the comment sections how you felt. Wrapping up though, that'll do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. I'm Noxie.
And Nickums.
We'll catch y'all next time.